We know there has been a lot of talk surrounding Zach LaVine when it comes to trade talks, but one person from Sports Illustrated believed that the Chicago Bulls should consider trading Nikola Vucevic for Andrew Wiggins. So we're going to get into that. And then I want to talk about this 7-game stretch coming up for the Chicago Bulls starting tonight and why it's a huge opportunity for the team. You know, we're going to talk about it, break it down, but you know, you got to hear the music first. Cognac gang. Shy Bulls podcast with the Cognac Boys. I'm Cognac Boy Bobby, and I'm holding it down on another episode of Shy Bulls podcast. If you tuned in with me today, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell as well. Look, hey, so it's already been put out there. You know what I'm saying? Zach LaVine requested his trade. Bleacher Report has listed the Chicago Bulls as one of the teams that should have blow it up, that should go ahead and blow it up. So it's always going to be some things, especially as we edge closer and closer to the trade deadline that comes out surrounding certain teams that's probably going through a bit of a struggle. And in this particular article from Sports Illustrated, the writer believes that the Chicago Bulls should explore a trade for Nikola Vucevic to the Golden State Warriors for Andrew Wiggins. Some of the reasons that the fellow mentioned was because both teams, they don't have really good records. The Bulls are 16-21, and the Golden State Warriors are 17-19, and really like in a rut. The Golden State Warriors are in a rut. This is not something we haven't seen much of this over the last decade. You know what I'm saying? But some of the reasons that was listed on why the Bulls and the Golden State Warriors should both explore this trade is one of the reasons that was mentioned is because Andrew Wiggins probably needs a change of scenery. And then the guy went on and listed Vooch age and that Andrew Wiggins could be a potential replacement for Zach or DeMar if the Bulls were to go ahead and trade him. So if you trade Nikola Vucevic, if you're the Chicago Bulls, which I don't see happening anyway, I ask all those that might be on board with saying, yeah, let's do it. I will counter with, then what's your replacement for Nikola Vucevic? What's your replacement for Nikola Vucevic? The reason I'm asking that is because we know what Andre Drummond is. Can he come in and fill in for a game or two? Absolutely. But over a course of 82 games or how many ever games over, a season, I don't believe he's that starting center that can help the Chicago Bulls in today's NBA be a top-notch team. He's going to gobble up the rebounds. He's going to, do some things defensively. He's going to also, provide something different from what we normally see from Nikola Vucevic. But the biggest slight on it is the offensive punch. He puts no fear in other opposing teams from the perimeter. He doesn't space the floor. And I'm not trying to really go ahead and take shots at Andre Drummond. It's just that when someone throws out, you should trade your best center and you have no replacement for him. I have to ask questions and then look at things and then break it down to the best of my abilities for all things considered for what it really is. And then I want to talk about Andrew Wiggins a little bit. We've seen this with Andrew Wiggins, bro. We've seen this. Now it's time for another change of scenery. We've seen how he had all the expectations in the world to be an all-star caliber player or have, reach certain heights as a player with the Minnesota Timberwolves, and that kind of faded to black. Then he was traded to the Golden State Warriors. They got the best out of him, and then he faded to black again. Now with a championship, culture per se. They have their issues, but one thing that's supposed to be for certain is that this guy was supposed to be one of the main driving forces to push the Golden State Warriors into contention for a little bit more longer. And he kind of fell off the wayside. So I always have to come to this and ask these questions of like, yes, all the trade talk sounds beautiful. Yes, the trade machine is fun to dial up. You crank it up and you put players in and you say you can get assets and it's all cute and games until you actually have to sit down and evaluate how does things fit schematically in basketball terms. Because why would I give away my best center who is offensively gifted, who is not great at defense, but good enough, who can still gobble up rebounds on both ends of the floor, and who has a high IQ, who doesn't really find himself in a lot of foul trouble. Why would I give that up to add another wing that might not even be able to properly replace the two other guys if I was to decide to trade them? And then I also have to bring up Patrick Williams in this. I understand Patrick Williams, he still has his ways, but the way he's been playing lately, that means something to me. And I kind of already know what Andrew Wiggins is. I still have questions surrounding Patrick Williams for sure, but I'm willing to take my chances with Patrick Williams versus saying, let's go get Andrew Wiggins. Because if he comes here, he jumps in front of Patrick Williams. Or if we supposed to believe that he's the guy that's supposed to carry the torch on over, I don't have much confidence in that. And then again, who's the replacement at center? We don't know what Adama Sanogo looks like, really. We've seen a few minutes of him, but we don't know what he can be. And we know what Andre Drummond is. It's just not good enough. At some point, ladies and gentlemen, we got to come to the terms, and that's just what it is, and realize that everything that's been placed out there is not always good. Just because it look good and sound good and we want to make a move, it doesn't necessarily mean it's the best move to make, especially when you got Nikola Vucevic locked up for the next few years at a favorable deal. Hey, but you let me know down below. Would you look or entertain this Nikola Vucevic trade for Andrew Wiggins? For me, it's a decline. I'm declining. But you let me know what you would do down in the comment box below. But hey, now we move on to the Chicago Bulls and why I believe they have a huge opportunity ahead of them. The huge opportunity is the next 7 games for the Chicago Bulls. They have the Hornets tonight, then the Rockets, the Warriors, the Spurs, Cavs, Raptors, and Grizzlies. Those are very, very winnable games. And you're getting guys back now. Nikola Vucevic, he's coming back. He's rolling around. Zach LaVine is coming back. He's healthy. He's coming. He's rolling around. In the last 18 games, the Chicago Bulls are 11-7. And they have a very good opportunity to put more numbers in that win column. The Hornets, who they handled the Hornets in the first game. Any given, basketball is different. Anything can happen on any night. You know what I'm saying? It's just, that's the nature of sports on any given night, pretty much. But then you got a young, scrappy Rockets team who is well coached, but you still should be able to keep yourselves in there. You got the Warriors team who has Steph Curry, but that's about it. Then you got the Spurs who gave the Bulls a little bit of trouble when the Bulls played them. The Cavs that kind of beat up on the Bulls, and Bulls can go ahead and look at this opportunity to get their lick back. You got a Raptors team that just got RJ Barrett. We can see what that turns to. And then you got a Grizzlies team that's been playing much better since Ja Morant. None of these are crazy difficult games. Obviously, you cannot overlook these teams because if you overlook them, you're going to lose. But I look at this opportunity for the team to continue their winning ways, and also so Zach LaVine, if he still somehow wants this trade to go down, this is an opportunity to say, hey, I fit in here. Look what I've been doing. Hey, the narrative around me saying I'm not a winning player or I can't help teams continue to win, that's BS. Look at what I'm doing now. And maybe he get his wish, and, something transpires to where both sides are good, meaning the Chicago Bulls and Zach LaVine. And the blueprint has been set for the Chicago Bulls. But now it's time for the players to execute. You have to execute. We know what the offense should look like. We know that the ball should not be sticking on majority of the possessions. We know that you got to go out here and show effort, communicate on defense, and get your hands up in the passing lanes to create deflections. And then that will create easy opportunities at the basket on the other end in transition. So everything is right there for the Bulls to take. Everything is right in our face for the Chicago Bulls to string together a nice stretch again. You have some winnable games right in front of you against some teams that have their struggles. You know what I'm saying? The Warriors are having their struggles. The Hornets have their struggles. The Spurs. The Raptors a little bit having their struggles, and the Grizzlies. They've dug themselves into a hole. They're trying to climb out of that. So that's going to be a good scrappy game. Me personally, I'm always going to remember Ja Morant dancing on the Chicago Bulls every time he plays them. But hey, we got to go ahead and make sure we execute, make sure we get this thing. And I would say if you're going 7 games, if you go 5-2, that's a pretty good thing to be. Because then at that particular moment, you'll be 16-9. And those, within, since December, once the Bulls start trying to turn this thing around, and you can probably find yourself starting to climb the Eastern Conference a little bit. So the Bulls have to lock in, be prepared, and just one game at a time, this whole thing. And Billy Donovan, you got to put your guys in the right positions. And the good thing is that Billy Donovan has now more to work with because you're getting Zach LaVine back. You're getting Vooch back. Patrick Williams, still not really practicing. He should be coming back within the next few games, though. Hopefully, we shall see. Alex Caruso is back at practice doing light work. So your players are coming back. Your team is coming back to fully gel, hopefully. And we shall see what the end results will be at the end of this. But this is a great opportunity to continue to steamroll or build up that steam so you can make sure that you're moving in the right direction, regardless of what the moves will look like coming closer to the trade deadline. We shall see what happens. We shall see. Go ahead down below, drop your predictions, what the Bulls will be looking like within their next 7 games. I believe an acceptable record at the minimum. If you want to go, I say it need to be 5-2. That's just me. It needs to be 5-2. I don't care how you dice it up. They got a game tonight, then they got Wednesday's game, and then I believe they have a back-to-back this weekend. Bro, that's 4 games. You should be able to be good. You should be good, man. You should be good. That's it. But yeah, that's it for me today, ladies and gentlemen. Thank y'all for tuning in to another episode of Chicago Shy Bulls podcast. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. If you want to call in and leave your take, the voice line is 773-242-9219. Thank y'all. Appreciate y'all. I'm going to catch y'all on the next one for sure.
Cognac. Gang.